Hello and welcome to eCapital Advisors Mobile in 20. My name is Tammy Brasted. I am the Director of IBM Solutions here with eCapital. And we're here today to talk a little bit about IBM Cognos Mobile. I think probably one of the most interesting things that's happened is that mobile has really taken off, and there's been some real excitement in the area of mobile and accessing your business intelligence from a mobile device. The reality is that people are more on the go, and that the ability to get reports and get them when you want them, when you need them, even in a disconnected fashion, is very important in our world today. IBM Cognos Mobile gives you access to all of the information that you have in your Cognos connection. So you can get at any information that you have that's there already, and you can actually take some of this information on and offline. So in order to do that, right, you first can go through and do Cognos Mobile HTML reports. So when you actually go into that site, you're going to log in just as you would if you were a user for Cognos Connection. You'll log in, you'll be exposed to the public folders and the My folders as they are there, and then you'll actually be able to interact with your reports just as you would if you were live on your laptop or your desktop. So it does have the ability to drill up and down, and you have the ability to navigate your reports, whether you're answering props or whatever. But kind of the cool and more exciting stuff is what came out with Cognos 10 and their active reports initiative. And what an active report is it's really just it's a disconnected report. So if you think of it as a PDF on steroids, that's exactly what it is. So you actually create this report in Report Studio, and you'll actually put the interactivity to that report, and it will contain all the information that you're looking for. So an end user can very easily drill up and drill down. They can navigate between regions and in prompt boxes. They can touch things and make other things happen. It's kind of the way that you would expect a report to look. What we've found is that a lot of companies are now using these reports actually customer-facing, right? So they'll go out, they'll visit their customers, and they're going to give them some information about what they bought last year versus what they're buying this year, right? And they can do that with a very visually attractive, interactive report. We've also discovered that with these active reports, they're really a no training needed report, that you can pretty much hand them to an end user, and an end user can very easily go, oh, I want to know more here, touch that active report, and begin to interact immediately with that active report. Active reports were very successful, not only for eCapital and IBM Cognos, but they were just very successful in the industry as a whole. But what happened is we got faced with some new trends in the industry. Things like big data began to happen. Once we started to give the end user community more visually, more graphically appealing reports, they started to begin asking for more. This paradigm shift actually felt like customers were just making up new chart types that they wanted. But basically what was happening is they were getting more industry specifications and visualizations. Finance wanted things like stock tickers. Manufacturing wanted things like capacity utilization. They wanted things like capacity planning, right? So as you look at this slide that I have in front of you, right, they actually wanted things that were more like flow chart looking, things that were, you know, more what they tended to see in their industry and their charts. And there was no way that people like Cognos were able to keep up. So we had to come up with something that was a little bit more interactive. So what Cognos did is or IBM Cognos did is they actually needed to get smarter faster. So there's an emerging technology called Rave, where we're able to easily create chart types that will go with industry, This will also reduce the size of the report because all we're going to do is put the data in the report, and there's actually this RAVE engine that will live within this active report. These reports are still disconnected, right? We're not connected to any data sources. We are just rendering the data that's actually contained within the report. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of these reports. So first thing I want to take a look at here is the interface. So the interface is something that you download from iTunes. So I'm on my iPad right here. I've actually downloaded this application, and you'll get some samples. You can see at the bottom where there's My Active Reports, and there's actually the IBM Cognos sample reports out here. And so I'm going to take a look at one of My Active Reports. So I'm just going to simply select it to open it up. It says, very visually, it says, you know, Tammy, you have these reports out here. I'm going to take a look at this Capital Seafood Company sales report. So I'm going to simply take a look at this. It's actually going to render this report now within my iPad, and then we're going to be able to navigate through it. You'll begin to see an overview screen of Capital Seafood. So you can see I've got an overview, I've got industries, I've got customers, I've got regions, and I've got the ability to start navigating through this. So let's start with the overview screen. So at Capital Seafood, there's a couple of things, right? They are really running a tight actuals to budgets in their particular company. And they actually have a belief that things are either red or green. There's no yellow, they're either red or green. So the chart, as you can see, is the green is telling me that they exceeded their budget. The gray in the center of week 1 is telling you that's what they had actually set that budget to be. You can see if I go to week 4 that we actually didn't meet our goal for that week. But then you can also see a gray line that's running through it, and that's actually telling me what we did last year. Currently, I'm looking at total sales. Maybe I want to look at just lake fish. If I simply just select lake fish, I'll get all my new information for lake fish. If I select ocean fish, I'll get the information in ocean fish. Sometimes we look at things by dollars. Sometimes we look at things by pounds, right? So how many pounds of fish did we sell? And again, I can navigate through pounds and look at all that information as well. Let's take a look at industry. So as we look at industries, right, we can see our year-to-date actual sales by industry. I'm highlighted on industrial. Maybe I want to take a look at restaurants. Maybe I want to take a look at grocery. I've got the ability to navigate that way through my report. Let's take a look at customers. I'm simply just touching this on my iPad to navigate through this. So like everybody wants to know, right, who are my top customers, who are my bottom customers? So here's my top month-to-date customers. Here's my year-to-date customers. Let me go back to my month-to-date. And I want to know what Harvest Market actually bought from us. If I simply select Harvest Market, I can tell you that they bought some ahi tuna, they bought some bluegill, they bought some crappie. And actually they're below what we wanted them to be with crappie. So, you know, maybe what I want to do is notify somebody about that. As you look at the screen, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner I actually have a pencil. So I'm going to simply select that pencil, right? And now I've got the ability to just, with my finger, draw on my iPad and say, you know, what's going on here, right? And then I can email this off. So we'll email this to somebody in the company. And now we've got the ability to do some collaboration and find out exactly what's going on within our crappies here at Harvest Market. Let me discard this, and let's go out of this. Let's take a look at another sample. I'm going to go over here and take a look at something that might be a little bit more, let's say, insurance related. So again, I've got a nice cover sheet for this. I could have almost like a sales slick on the cover of my report that will actually kind of give some information. We've actually had customers that have even wanted to put like their promotions on this front page, right? So you know what are the promotions for the month? We can certainly do things like that for these reports. So I'm going to go to my metric analytics report, and I look at my business two ways. I look at it by new business, and I look at it by renewal retention. In the status line, I can tell you if I'm right on track, if I'm trending, or if I'm off a little bit, or if I'm way below where I'm supposed to be, right? So in my apps submitted for my new business, I can tell you I'm trending in the right way and my status is the right way. All right, so here's what I was talking about. We're talking about new business and renewal retention, right? I have a status and I can tell you which way I'm trending. So I can say for my region being the entire national region, I can tell you my status is good and I'm trending in the right direction. But if we look at hit ratio, right, you can see that my status is yellow. In other words, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, and I'm trending away from where I'm supposed to be. So if I simply just touch hit ratio, I can begin to look at, did that just happen, or has that been going on for a long time? And so I can see that for the last couple of months, right, that's sort of tailored off. So I need to start to check into that, right? Maybe I want to see if that's true in other areas. So if I go to regional, is that what's going on there? And I can see that I can see things are better by region. So I'm looking at this national view. I've got these buttons at the very bottom of the screen are telling me that I can swipe. So I can either like touch a region, so let's say the Northwest region, and it'll bring me to that, or I can simply just do a swipe motion, and it will walk me through each one of these different breakdowns of my regional analysis. Last piece over here, again, it takes that region that I was asked, it passes that filter to this line, and now I can see kind of my strategic breakdowns, right? My strategic breakdowns by unit and by line of business. If I simply select one of these pie charts, you'll see the bottom of my report change to give me the detail and the category breakdown for what I simply selected. All right, so let's talk about these new reports, right? So I told you about the more interactive reports and the fact that IBM came up with this technology called RAVE. So I've got this control metrics report here that's going to come up, and it's going to show me like my product line revenue and my trend. I've got some performance rankings, some year-to-date overall targets, and it'll also kind of show me what's happening with my employees. So I can simply say, gosh, I want to know more about my product line revenue. I can simply just touch it, and it will focus me on that particular area that I was looking at. So I can look at that as an overview. I can look at that in detail. Right? It brings that information in. I've got the ability to navigate at the bottom, right, what was happening each one of my years. But if you notice as I'm going through this, right, that it's actually rendering these graphics on the fly. So let's go to the next page. Okay. So now as we're looking at this trend analysis, right, and I can look at, 2013, 2012. I can slide over here and look at just personal accessories if that's what I want to see. I can look at mountaineering. I can scroll down and look at camping equipment over here. I can take a look at expenses, right? Same thing, right? I can simply select any one of these and I can get that information. Let's go down and take a look at performance rankings, right? So it looks like eyewear is our big producer, right, for all regions. Let's focus down on the Americas, right? Looks like tents are more important in the Americas. Let's go over to Northern Europe, right? We can see things just slightly changing in size, right, to go with what's going on. It looks like eyewear in Central Europe is important. I turn some of these things off as we go through this. Okay. Let's take a look at our totals, right? So our product performance analysis for the year, I'm focused on camping equipment, right? Maybe I want to look at golf equipment, right? Maybe I want to look at mountaineering equipment or outdoor protection, right? I've got the ability to take and kind of navigate through that. Again, I am totally disconnected from any data sources, right? All this data is living within this particular report. Last but not least, I can see my employee analysis. And this is kind of an interesting report because I can see who reports to who and who's doing really well, right? Or Penelope, right, is doing really well, but you know, both Laura Bauer and Diane are doing very well as well, right? Or Steve Henderson isn't doing that well. But I can begin to focus my details that are on the right-hand side. You know, maybe I want to see, you know, how poorly Dale was doing, or what Scott's doing, right, based on his quota. So with that, let's conclude. Thank you very much.